Hello everyone, this is the introduction to rune weaving. It's a text that I wrote in the late 1980s, a book but more in a manuscript form. And like I have been doing of late, I am going to be giving you an entire series, video series, that comes from this manuscript. First, I would like to read to you the introduction that I wrote at the time for this book. Rune weaving is an initiatory encounter of archetypal dimension, focused through the rune stones, the ancient Norse system of writing. Runes were far more than a tool of communication to the ancients, but served as their sacred oracle, divining the energies of mind and the integration of those energies with matter. In rune weaving, the seeker is visited by the Magi or oracle Lindane. She is a high initiate from the past, who weaves the code of the runes into a questing through time. As Lindane places her soul into the body of the runes, so the life of spirit emerges. In a flowing turn of words to stir the meditative disciple, each rune is revealed with an ancient philosophy born from the closeness of a people to the earth and sea. For each runic letter in rune weaving, 3 presentations are given. The law, the Vikings introduced the word law into the English language. The spirit, and tying the knot of each rune's weave is the riddle. If the theory of relativity holds true, the past, present, and future are not such separate entities as they seem. Perhaps we merely devise ways to interpret a single constant by breaking it down into manageable parts. It may be that the mind is the barrier to mutual coexistence with the entire spiral of awareness, space, and time. If this is so, then the runes would seem to be an employable system of integration, which when reflected upon in our inner spaces, reveals the entropy of mind, recreating the complete image of this spiral as a holograph upon each facing of the multifaceted soul. And so, what follows is first the telling about the rune mistress Lindane by the rune master. And after that comes Lindane's story. Now that will conclude the introduction, and then the other videos in this series are going to be very short because each of them will be one rune. So I want to do it this way to enable people to choose runes from the video series. In other words, after you've listened to the whole thing, you might want to go back and say, I think I'll choose this rune today to listen to, or this one. And that way you can have an easy access to just one rune to listen to at any time. And so now we begin. As librarian of the Sacred Emporium, I read to you now from the Journal of the Rune Master of the Veil. I, Bothmenkin, Rune Master of the Veil, doth cast a rune weaving for thee. In the breast of Cathari the weaving begins. For the beauty of the sacred was gathered, and the seed engendered in love. The priestess Cathari ripened in the embrace of Panthor, who stirred her womb to life, gave birth to Lindane, child of moon and stars, child of sun and sea, daughter of Panthor, the life host of the heritage of one. 'Twas on the shores of Thrace that Lindane was born, where the goddess silkens the mists and the sea foam is lathered as milk from a dough, curling in traces of froth above the footstools of the great northern cliffs. I came in my 80th sun passing to this coast, seeking the child whose face shimmered in trance-light, mirrored in my crystal soul compass. The ship that bore me to Thracian waters was a craft of the fartherings, the voyagers of the great sea, who guide their crafts by the shining voices of the heaven speakers to shores beyond the known world. The priestess Cathari was a farthering, fostered as a child in Thrace by the shaman Adrea. The far distant sounds of Hero tone-laced the air. Birds of the sea, Hero was seldom seen. Their gray-silver forms, plumed in violet-banded pinions, were like ghost ships haunting solitude. The Hero brought a thought bonding to me with the violet-eyed child, Lindane. Her winged mind was forever in flight, the sight a constant companion. Truly she was magi, for no initiate alone could time cast as could she, nor could mere priestess mind blend with dolphin and honeybee alike. No, Lindane was magi, as Cathari well knew. At birth, Lindane had been tattooed by her priestess mother with the sign of the spiritual warrior, one who goes before the tide, cutting the sea as a ship's bow, one who waits for time to move them, one who moves for time to pass. The testament of the Magi Lindane began, and through my mastership the child became the initiate, who lived not in the letter of life, but in the spirit of life, who with every intake of breath did sift the finer gold from knowledge, till she was adorned with wisdom and vested with the sweetness of the hidden heart. As the runes speak the weaving of life and spirit, so Lindane's soul visited the body of the runes and brought life to its testament of old. Upon these pages, the Magi's passing among the runes is given, as her hand set it down by the writhe of a candle's shifting light, as the twilight of an age sought to hold back the darkness for but a moment longer. Upon the oath of the Sunstone do I, Lindane, give pledge that what I doth score this night be a sacred passage of words, possessed by the gods of truth and wisdom. It was the mighty Odin, crucified on the branch of knowledge, that plunged his hand into the abyss and drew forth the runes of wisdom, of insight beyond the veil. It was Odin who inscribed the runes upon the first priestess of light, Andrea, from whom the living circle of the Sunstone was raised. We who serve the Sunstone are the living circle, descendants of the first generation of Andrea, daughter of the living flame. In an age distant, Our ancestors became divided, as a tree whose limbs grew apart, thoughtless of the root that binds them as one. From among the tribe of Andrea, there were those who sought the path of the red dragon, that of renewal through the blood bonding, the taking of one's strength to supply the other. The path of the red dragon is one of surrender to the eternal cycles of birth and death. The red dragon consumes its own flesh and fire, which is replenished through living sacrifice on the altar and in battle. It is the Valkyrie of dark spaces, feasting on revenge, blotting out the suns in its path as it tears into the hearts of violent men. Yet there are also of Andrea's lineage who, like the priestess of light, travel the path of the golden dragon. It is from the mouth of the golden dragon that I speak, for it is he who guardians the supreme sunstone. We of the circle of the sunstone continue service to the living lights, as did our one sent Andrea in the day when her body was a kenning of runic service scored by Odin in the shadow of the sacred tree. We are priest, priestess, shaman, shamana, druid, which is master of the veil, and magi. Each of these titles bears a service given in rune upon the body of Andrea. The priest's inscription are upon her feet and legs. The runes of the priestesses are incised upon her hands, arms, and chest. The lips are graven with the runes of the shaman, and Andrea's neck bears the symbols of the shamana. The druid runes are found along her spine and upon her stomach. It is the magi whose runic magic is scored upon Andrea's heart and forehead, and also burn from the crown of her head. Together they reflect the body of wisdom, the spirit of the law of one, bestowed upon us by the one sent from the fiery castles of the living lights. And it is the runes that bid us to memory seed our tribe, ourselves, our generation. Never will the circle wither about the sunstone, so long as the runes sing to us. Alo kata me tukala. And so it is.